Awesome. Hi there. Each of you have very strong characters and personalities. So, where did you get your inspiration to create your characters? Like, have you met people like your characters in real life, or what did you do to get into the mindset and to get into the personalities of your characters? This is for everybody.
Yeah, you guys answer this.
No, well, don't look at me. Well, you
I start.
go first.
Well, like Tony said, the script was very strong. It was really unusual. The language was great. It was very funny. It was very touching. When you have that kind of a when you have that language, that's sort of that's really what you need because you can't make it up. It's really hard when somebody says you can be whoever you want to be, and you're like, we that's kind of how we work, actors. You start with the script, and honestly, that was sort of everything. That was all I drew on.
Um, well, I mean, I think that one thing that was so attracted to uh, was this idea that this character is. I mean, Barbara's got a lot of conviction, and she's got a lot of it, and she's I think sort of guilty of what I don't know. I'm certainly am, and I'm sure a lot of people are. Is wanting your partner to fit into the little box you've made for them, and then that way they can be more like you, and everything will be great. And of course, real life doesn't work like that. But she really believes that to be true, and I just played her with as much kind of conviction as she has, and also when Joe and I would have conversations if we were kind of being our characters trying to come up with some dialogue or how to expand some of the scenes or so forth and everything that he would kind of throw at me I could just throw back at him with this like, but this is how it is, or this is what I think, or this is the way this is how it should be, or this is the way it needs to be. And so if we could just when we acted together, we just kind of continue that dialogue of just stay a very focused person. She's got her eyes on the prize, and I mean, I think like I said, I think we've all been that person in some way. She's just got a lot of that part of our personality.
I've had dinner with my character. I know a few people who are disconnected and who are living their own world and still have to be the king of the roost or whatever it is, the chicken or something. But I do know people like that. Yes.
I think we all know or have this sounds maybe like a cliche. I think we all have a certain amount of Don Juan, that classic. There's a reason this is a classic literary figure from throughout the ages. So we all have a little bit of that archetype, that Don Juan in us, that person who's just really selfish and just wants what they want and doesn't care about the consequences and doesn't care what anybody else thinks or feels, and treats everybody in the world like just a thing, like an object on the shelf, and doesn't really consider their perspective. It's very tempting to do that because it's easy. It's
You're making me think about my life.
and mine. I mean, look, we all, like I'm saying, I'm as culpable as anybody probably. We all have that tendency, and so then what was fun though was about taking that sort of idea, that concept, and being like, okay, but a character has to be more than a concept. It has to be, a person, and fleshing that out, and that was fun in the writing process to think about, okay, well then, so what does he do day to day? Why is he this way? What are his parents like? What is he? Oh, well, I guess he probably cares about his body a lot because he wants to look good. So he'd probably go to the gym a lot. And like, well, would he go to church? All those questions became really what was interesting to me. And then taking it off the page and having human beings and great artists begin to embody those characters. That was certainly the most exciting part of the whole multi-year process. I think that's kind of the most exciting thing for anything you've made is more than a good review or a round of applause or a good box office score or anything like that. If somebody else, another artist, has taken what you've done and used it to express themselves, that's so thrilling. So watching these actors bring more to it than what I had ever imagined was really the most fun part.